The alien woman held a help-wanted sign for hours, then a human took. Beginning. The rain fell hard on the neon-lit streets of Nova Chicago. Advertisements flickered across high-rise walls, their colors bleeding into the puddles below like molten paint. It was the year 2189, and Earth had long since become a patchwork of humans, synthetics, and off-world immigrants. The Interstellar Migration Treaty had made sure of that. Still, not everyone was welcomed equally. Ethan Cade knew this better than most. A former Starship technician, he had been laid off 2 years ago when automated repair drones became cheaper than human hands. Since then, he scraped by with odd jobs, couriering, salvage work, or whatever else paid enough for food and the rent of his micro-apartment. On that particular night, after a long shift delivering engine parts across the city, he spotted something unusual beneath the buzzing street lamps of 5th District, a woman standing completely still under the rain. She was holding a handmade cardboard sign, its words scrawled in black ink that was already bleeding in the storm. Help wanted. At first, Ethan thought she was just another desperate human. But as he got closer, he realized she was not human at all. Her skin shimmered faintly, almost translucent, with veins that glowed softly like threads of light. Her eyes were wide, solid silver without pupils. And though her drenched cloak clung to her frame, the faint ridges along her arms betrayed her alien physiology. She was an aliendrama, one of the interstellar refugees whose world had been destroyed in the Helios collapse 20 years earlier. Most humans avoided them. Rumors claimed the aliendrama carried hidden diseases, or worse, that they were spies for rival star empires. Ethan didn't believe those rumors, but he also knew how humans treated outsiders. To see one standing in the rain with a help-wanted sign was strange enough to make him stop. Been standing here long? He asked, lowering his hood. The alien woman looked at him as if startled someone had spoken. Her voice was melodic yet strained, like wind through glass. 3 hours. No one stops. You are the first. Ethan frowned. What kind of help are you looking for? She clutched the cardboard tighter, as if afraid he would snatch it away. My name is Sarai. I need someone, human. Someone not tracked. Someone who can go where I cannot. Her words carried a quiet urgency. Ethan had learned to recognize the tone of people in deep trouble. He'd heard it often enough from desperate colonists during his time on the outer stations. Still, he hesitated. Getting involved with aliens often meant tangling with interstellar authorities, or worse, corporate enforcers. But something about her trembling form, standing in the storm with a sign no one else dared to notice, struck him. All right, he said. I'll listen. And so began a story that would pull Ethan far beyond the rain-soaked streets of Nova Chicago, into a conspiracy stretching from Earth to the forgotten wreckage of Sarai's homeworld. Middle. Inside a dim cafe that welcomed off-world clientele, Sarai told her story. My people are dying, she began. The refugee blocks look normal, but there is sickness spreading. Not natural sickness. Something engineered. Ethan leaned forward. Engineered? You're saying someone's poisoning your kind? Sarai nodded. Drops of rain still clung to her hair, catching the cafe's red neon lights. There is a treatment. I found records of it, hidden in human archives. But the cure is locked away in a corporate vault, Argentech Biolabs. They made the sickness, I am sure. They profit from keeping us weak. Ethan's stomach knotted at the name. Argentech was notorious for black-budget experiments, genetic patents, and off-world exploitation. He had worked on their ships once, before quitting in disgust. You want me to break into Argentech? He asked. Yes. Sarai's voice cracked, but her silver eyes remained fixed on his. I cannot. They track my kind, restrict our movement. But you are human. Invisible to them. Please, Ethan. If you help me, you help thousands. It was madness. Argentech towers were guarded like fortresses. Getting caught meant prison, or worse, being disappeared. But Ethan thought of the rain again. Of her standing alone while crowds of humans walked past, pretending she didn't exist. He had been invisible too once, just another cog replaced by machines. All right, he said slowly. I'll help. Sarai's shoulders slumped with relief. Then I owe you my life. Their first step was research. Over the next week, Ethan used his old technician contacts to map out Argentech's facilities. The cure, labeled Project Helix, was rumored to be stored in Vault Theta, deep within the company's downtown biolab tower. But the building wasn't just guarded. It was practically alive, automated turrets, facial recognition drones, and AI systems that sniffed out intruders. A direct break-in was suicide. Sarai, however, possessed something Ethan didn't, alien intuition. The aliendrama could sense electromagnetic fields naturally, detecting currents like humans sensed heat. She couldn't enter the building, but she could help him navigate its defenses remotely. Each night, they worked together in Ethan's cramped apartment. Sarai studied blueprints, tracing paths with glowing fingertips. Ethan modified old maintenance drones into stealth tools, programming them to bypass Argentech's security. In those long nights, a bond formed. Sarai spoke of her destroyed world, Lyra, once covered in crystalline forests that sang with the wind. She told him of her people's exile, their endless struggle to find a place on Earth. Ethan, in turn, spoke of his failures, how he had been discarded by the corporations he once served. You understand, Sarai said softly one night, her silver gaze steady. You know what it is to be treated as less. Ethan didn't reply, but deep down he knew she was right. The night of the heist came. Disguised as a delivery technician, Ethan entered the Argentech tower. His heart hammered as he passed security scans, his false ID chip barely holding. Sarai remained outside, linked to him through a comms implant, guiding him with her uncanny sense for electromagnetic traps. Left corridor, her voice whispered in his ear. Avoid the camera pulse now. Step by step, he descended deeper. Twice he nearly triggered alarms, but Sarai's warnings saved him. Finally, he reached Vault Theta. The chamber shimmered with protective fields. Behind layers of glass and steel sat a crystalline vial filled with iridescent fluid, the cure. Ethan's hands shook as he deployed his hacked drone. Sparks danced, circuits hummed, and with a final click the vault seals disengaged. He grabbed the vial and stuffed it into his satchel. That was when the alarms blared. Run! Sarai cried through the comms. Security drones swarmed. Ethan sprinted through the halls, heart pounding. He ducked lasers, slid beneath closing barriers, and burst into the stormy night where Sarai was waiting in a stolen hovercar. They sped away as Argenteca's towers receded behind them, sirens echoing through the city. Ethan laughed breathlessly, clutching the vial. We did it. But Sarai didn't smile. Her silver eyes remained fixed on the road ahead. They will not stop, Ethan. Argentech will come for us. And worse, there is something you do not yet know. What? She hesitated, then whispered. The cure, it is not just medicine. It is also a key. Ending. They hid in the abandoned subway tunnels beneath the city, Argentech drones combing above like hunting hawks. Ethan demanded answers. What do you mean, a key? Sarai held the vial, its light casting eerie reflections on her translucent skin. Project Helix was not designed to heal. It was designed to control. This formula binds to ali biology, rewriting us so we are dependent on Argentech forever. That is why I needed you, not just to steal it, but to free it. Ethan's chest tightened. Free it? How? She met his gaze. With you. Human engineers still understand machines better than the corporation's algorithms. I need you to help me break the code inside this vial, to strip out the chains, leave only the cure. It was risky, maybe impossible. But Ethan had rebuilt jump drives in asteroid storms. He had repaired fusion cores with nothing but scrap wire. If anyone could crack the genetic locks, it was him. So for days they worked in the tunnels, surrounded by humming equipment scavenged from black markets. Ethan deciphered encryption embedded in the helix molecules, rewriting sequences line by line. Sarai guided him with alien insight, sensing where energy flows aligned with life itself. And in that dark, forgotten place, they did it. They created a pure version of the cure, free from corporate control. Sarai wept when she held the vial, her glowing tears catching the light. You have given us back our future. But Argentech had already closed in. Armed squads stormed the tunnels, weapons raised. Ethan and Sarai were cornered. A corporate officer stepped forward, sneering. Return our property, and we might let you live. Sarai clutched the vial protectively. Ethan stood in front of her. For a moment, it seemed hopeless. Then something unexpected happened. From the shadows of the tunnels, more figures emerged, dozens of Ali refugees, drawn by whispers of Sarai's mission. They surrounded Ethan and Sarai, silver eyes blazing. One by one, the refugees raised tools, weapons, even bare fists. Their voices rose together in a song-like hum that shook the walls. The officer paled. Outnumbered, his squad faltered. And in that hesitation, Ethan grabbed a stolen EMP charge and hurled it. The blast fried Argenteca's systems, forcing the soldiers to retreat. Breathing hard, Ethan turned to Sarai. She pressed the vial into his hands. You risked everything for us. This cure must be delivered. Will you help me one last time? Ethan nodded. Together, they carried the cure to the refugee districts. Within weeks, Sarai's people began to heal. The sickness faded. Word spread that humans and aliens had worked side by side to break Argenteca's chains. The corporation tried to silence it, but the story was too powerful. Across the city, humans who had once ignored the Ali began to see them differently, not as outsiders, but as survivors. One evening, as the rain fell again on the neon streets, Ethan walked with Sarai beneath the same lamp where she had once stood with her cardboard sign. You could have walked past me, like all the others, Sarai said softly. Ethan looked at her, then at the glowing skyline beyond. Maybe I just knew what it felt like to need someone to stop. She smiled, silver eyes glimmering. And for the first time in years, Ethan felt like he belonged, not to a corporation, not to a system, but to something greater.